Once the euphoric phase of you traveling abroad and getting your visa is over, there's tendency that most immigrants, including myself and people I know, will go through one, two, three, or even some of these challenges. Please watch to the end and remember to share. My name is Gloria Otekal. I'm going to just be sharing with you few challenges that you may face. As much as we want to hear only the good side of moving to a country, moving abroad, migrating, these are some of the limitations that may not only affect you physically, psychologically, mentally, most especially financially, in your few years in any country that you migrate to. But please watch today because I'm going to be giving you a few tips that may help you. These are things that have worked for me, and I'm talking based on my own experience, what I think. And please remember to drop your own opinion in the comment section. The first challenge an immigrant or somebody who has just moved to a new country may face is limited access to resources. There's no one way about, I'm sure you're going to agree with me that most immigrants that move abroad struggle with finding the appropriate resources because there's unfortunately not lot of information on how to assess things. Thank God for social media now that we can now share information and do our research. Most of the time, compared to where you're coming from, you've lived in that country, let's say all your life, for 10 years, for 5 years, for 15 years. You already know how to navigate the society. You know the do's, you know the don't. When you move into a new country, it is actually very difficult for you to understand the resources that are available for you. Number one, you're afraid, oh, am I eligible for this? Am I not eligible for this? Before we go into the second challenge, we're going to introduce our sponsor for today, LemFi. I am in my money saving era. That is why I use LemFi, formerly known as Lemonade Finance, to send money to Nigeria. And if you live in the UK, Canada, the USA, you can also use LemFi to transfer money to countries like Uganda, Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, Tanzania, and so many other African countries. One of the things that makes LemFi stand out is that you get to transfer your money at the best exchange rates, no hidden charges, zero transfer charges. That means if you send £10, the person you're sending £10 to gets the equivalent of £10. You're not going to get charged for anything. It is quick, no minimum transfer. That means you can send as low as you want. The person gets the money quickly and at a very good rate. Download the app. Remember to use LemFi. Also remember to add my referral code Gloria Otekal. The best part of it is once you download and you register for your first £100 and above, you get £10 cashback. Please remember to use my referral code Gloria Otekal, or capital letter Gloria Otekal with no space. And during your registration, if you forget to use Gloria Otekal, there is a space on the right hand side of your app. Once you click referral, it asks you, did somebody refer you? Kindly input Gloria Otekal if you've forgotten to use Gloria Otekal during your registration. Thank you, LemFi, for sponsoring this video. Challenges with education and jobs. I'm putting this together because sometimes we are all educated from where we're from. I'm actually from Nigeria. I can say we are very educated. Most of us are educated. But when you move to a country, especially if you've not done your research properly, especially if you're a professional, know the equivalent of that's your profession, where you're going. Know if you're going to fit in. Know if you're going to need additional education. Know if you're going to need additional training. The challenges most of us face is no matter how educated you are. For instance, you want to move to Canada as a nurse. You're already a nurse in your country. Even you're already a nurse in the UK, they don't care. They're going to expect you to meet some standards. So they're asking for this, they're asking for that, asking for credentials. And sometimes they will even ask you to go back to do some courses, or they will expect you to go and write NCLEX. Those are the requirements that country needs. So no matter your level of education, where you're coming from, if you're a manager, if you're a lecturer, no matter your level of attainment, where you're coming from, you sometimes have to then come down to the level of the country you're going through and navigate your way before you can actually find a job that will be of good standard. I'm not saying you're not going to get a job that will suit you, pay your bills, but they may not be the kind of job, or it may not be the level that you used to be where you are. I've seen doctors in Nigeria or in other countries come to the UK and start afresh, start from being a carer before they then work their way up to doing the exams, their licensing, and then get back into the system. So you have to be prepared for something like this. Before you move to that country, I will please ask you or advise you to do your research. Another challenge immigrants face when they move abroad is a lack of social support. You cannot deny the fact that where you're coming from, you already have a network of friends, of neighbors, people that knew you when you were growing up, people that know your parents, people that will support you, somebody that will knock at your door if they don't see you for 2 days, somebody that will be like, oh, wait, are you going to the market? I can help you get something. Somebody that will be there for you, somebody that will talk to you, somebody that will gossip with you. When you move to a new country, it's like packing your whole life into few briefcases and moving to a new country to start afresh. No matter how rich you were where you're coming from, you're having to navigate your way again in that country. So you're coming to a new country with maybe zero friend. If you're lucky, you have a family in that country, or if you're lucky, you have a friend who also have their own problem, who also have their own responsibility, who did not migrate to that country because of you. So they will also hustle for their own life. You will have to hustle and figure your own way out as well. So you are going to have to face limitations with having social support before you will be able to join a church. I would advise you, if you're a Christian or you're Muslim, join a religious group. There are groups on WhatsApp, maybe your country group, your work group, but just be very careful. Join those groups and don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be too afraid. Don't be too proud. The worst that will happen is somebody will tell you, I do not know. It's better than you trying to figure out things by yourself in the wrong way. Okay? So always ask questions. Do your research. See, I always say before you actually even think of applying for a visa, research, research, and research. Your name should be called researching. Researching should be done 2 to 3 months prior to even making up your mind, so that you want to know what works in that country that you're going, what you'll be needing to adjust. You need to research, okay? And don't be too quiet. Don't be the type that wants to move to a country and become alien, wants to move to a country and become more countrynized than the people who are even in that country. Come down to the level of you asking questions. Something as simple as knowing where they sell red oil. I know how I struggled when I came to this country. When I came to Scotland, I couldn't figure it out. I remember my first few weeks I was cooking my okra because I could find little finger in the shop. I was cooking okra with groundnut oil because I didn't have anybody to support me through that process. So that may be one challenge that you are also or may also face when you move abroad. Another challenge that you may face will be determined by your legal or your immigration status. I'm not talking about you even coming to a country illegally. I'm talking about you even being legal and your visa being restrictive, especially. For instance, you're in a tier 2 work visa, you're restricted. When your friend can easily just bugger off and work in a random company and make extra money, you cannot. When your friend can decide to work 2 days on their main job and work 3 days as agency so they can get more money or do some side hustle, because you're on a visa, you're restricted. So these are some of the things that will restrict you until sometime. But look, the whole thing I always say is it will come to a time when you even forget all this has happened because you will forget them. Things will get easier. You will navigate your run. And I always say, any country you move to, anything you're doing, if it's a job, I always advise, give that job 1 year. If you're moving to a new country, give that new country 1 year. Don't just come 1 month, 2 months, and then you're giving up on the country. Even before you give it a try, it's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be hard. I've moved to countries, so I can tell you there are days that you want to cry. If you want to cry, go into the shower, have a good cry. Sis, bros, have a good cry. Shower, do your makeup if you want, and come out shining and try again because it will test you. That abroad will test you. Another challenge you are going to face or you may face is the cultural differences. Hey, it go shock you. Hey, it go shock you. Cultural differences now your mates. You'll be shocked at almost 90% of the things, except you've been traveling to that country for a long time and you already know how things are done there. Let me tell you something. It will shock you. You will have cultural shock to your bone marrow. You'll be surprised at how things are done differently, the food, the way people speak, the way people do things, the organization of that country is going to be a shock. So like I also said, keep researching. But, rounding this video up, it will also always get easier. And there are ways for you to navigate your way. Like I've also mentioned, join groups, ask questions, church groups, family groups, look for a friend. Even don't be afraid to speak to your white neighbor if they look nice, especially the older ones. They're usually very welcoming and open. I don't know where you believe in though, to accommodate and to speak to you, to know more about you. Just that when you're doing it, be very careful who you talk to. That being said, there's so many people who have migrated abroad by the grace of God with hard work, with determination, and they've been successful. Everybody has a story. But your life will be easier if you have the right information, the right people in your circle, the right resources. I wish you good luck and thank you so much for watching. Please remember to just subscribe to my channel, share my video, follow my pages. I'm on all social media platforms as Gloria Otiko. Thank you so much for watching. You know I love you to the moon and back. And it is still your baby girl of life, Gloria Otiko. Bye.